Right, how are we all doing, guys? I hope you're doing well. Unfortunately for me, I am still in the current pandemic situation, so still on lockdown, unfortunately. So I thought for a change, and I have seen sort of other YouTubes doing this and stuff like that, I'm going to tell you all about my absolutely, I guess, half terrible car history. So here we go.
Sick!
Alright, so like I said, I have seen a lot of YouTubers doing this and stuff like that, so I have noticed they do tend to waffle on quite a bit. So I'm going to try and average about a minute-ish per car if I can. I'm going to try my best to do that. So yeah, so let's start from the beginning. I'm 20 years old, I think, or 21 years old, something like that, I can't remember now. Passed my test, 6 minors, first time, and the next day I was like, right, let's get insured on my mum's car. So technically the first car wasn't technically mine, but yeah, this was it. It was a Skoda Fabia 1.2 2003. It was my mum's car. It was pretty much a Polo underneath, except it was obviously a Polo is a lot better looking. But yeah, it did the job, to be fair. I felt like an absolute don driving about in that thing. I did some really stupid modifications to that. Lexus lights, I'm so embarrassed to say this now, to be honest with you. Lexus lights, I got one of those Chinese stereos, I put neons in the footwells. What else did I do? Put some really awful stickers on it. And for some reason I thought it'd be a good idea to put a Union Jack flag on the tow eye at the back for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking then, I was young and stupid. And I used to take that to all the Northwest Car Cruise meets in like Blackpool and stuff like that from proper back in the day. Some of you might remember that. Yeah, and I drove around in that for not that long really, maybe 6-7 months or something like that. It was 500 quid for the year as well, which was really cheap. At the time, and I just finished uni. I didn't even complete uni, to be fair, and I got a full-time job. I needed to get myself my own car. So from that, I went to the proper Nando's whip, McDonald's whip, whatever you want to call it. Corsa D, in black, the 1.3 CDTI diesel, turbo diesel. And I just pretty much threw money at that thing left, right and centre, to be fair. I did splitters, tints, blacked out the wheels, subwoofer, did I say subwoofer? Yeah, a few bits and bobs, and then sort of halfway through that I ended up crashing into a wall, and I mean I smashed into that wall 40-50 miles an hour, something like that. Basically 5 o'clock in the morning, driving to work, pitch black. Car pulled out in front of me. I think if I remember rightly, it was a red Subaru. It was in like a wooded area. Didn't pull out in front of me, no lights or anything. I swerved to miss it, smashed straight into the wall, and yeah, I ended up having to get that towed back to the garage near mine, and I had to source all the parts for it because I didn't want to go for insurance, because obviously it's my first year. It would have been a lot. Yeah, God, that was bad. That yeah, it cost me about £1,000 to fix that in total. And maybe a couple months after that, I remember it was just after Christmas, it was being really odd. It just had absolutely no power, and then I remember putting some oil in it or something like that. It needed oil light came on. I just thought I'll just go and get some from Alfred's. Topped it up. I remember pulling out. I had my girlfriend with me at the time. Got to not even halfway up this hill, and it just full on cut out. I made the weirdest noise, and then it just died on me. And I just thought, right, I'm not spending any more money on this. So unfortunately, I had to just sort of take that as a loss, sell that as a non-runner, and move on. It was a bit rubbish really. I had next to no money as well. I remember it's because I'd spent obviously quite a lot of money on insuring my first car, which was like £1,000. The car was about 2.5. I was pretty rinsed of money, to be fair. And yeah, I tried going out after that. I sold it as a non-runner. Guy took it from Birmingham or something like that. Yeah, and then I was a bit out of luck, and then I had to get insured on my mum's car again, and she'd just gone out and bought herself a brand new Citroen C3. Yeah, this is how ugly it is. It was her 50th birthday present car. I'm not joking. I don't even have an original picture of this because I crashed it and wrote it off within a week. Not my fault. Someone, a van actually swerved in front of me when I was going up to 50, 60 mile an hour road. It's somewhere in Blackburn. I was driving my girlfriend to a team meeting or something like that, and we were running late. Swerved out in front of me. I shit myself. I went round this van and ploughed into this banking, smashed into this fence, and yeah, the car was a complete write-off. My mum had driven that car once. She'd driven that car one time. That was her 50th birthday present car. So yeah, I wrote that off. So that was not good. In fact, that was really bad. Then I think this is all within my first year of driving as well. Then I had to buy, because I couldn't find anything that was to my liking, I ended up buying my dad's Renault Scenic that he'd had since new. It was a company car. I bought it off him for 200 quid. And to be fair, it's not my kind of car at all, but it was decent and I knew it ran all right. So I thought, right, let's just have this for a little while. I remember it had the weirdest dipstick location as well. I remember trying to check the oil on it and everything like that. I couldn't even find the dipstick. I ended up having to find it online. 200 quid, ran that for about a month and then sold it on Country for 420 quid. So double my money on that one. So that was good. And at that point, because the crash wasn't my fault from the Citroen, I'd just been paid out for that. So I went and got the car that we all know, that the one that started this channel, my Honda Civic EP2 Sport in blue, and I love that car. That was probably my favourite car I've ever bought, that, to be fair. I think everyone knew that car, and I learned so much with that car. I did so many modifications to that thing, you know, starting from the front, like, what was it, splitter, alloys, tints, what else did I do? I had 2 exhaust systems for that. What else did I do? Went through 2 clutches. I had that. The exhaust system, the second one was from Exhaustworks. What else did I do? I had a different set of alloys on it. At one point I used to run some DC5 alloys. I had a lot of memories in that car. I took it to pod, took it down the strip, got like a really good time, 16 seconds. I know you're impressed. But for a 1.6 it weren't bad. It was loud because it had like 421 manifold on it as well, and it, you know, it was completely straight piped from the manifold back. Technically, there was no cat on it or anything. So yeah, that thing was a lot of fun, that car, and I do miss it. And yeah, it was just an absolute toy, to be fair. There was, like I said, so many good times with that car. You'll find out what happened to that in a second. So yeah, at the time, I was getting a bit bored of the Civic, and someone I knew who wanted it. So I thought, right, I need to venture out here and get something different, something that's a bit out of the ordinary for me, and you got to experiment a bit with cars and stuff like that. So I was at a meet, and I think it was a carbon strips meet actually, and I drove my mate Miko's Volkswagen Borah. And he'd been remapped, straight piped, slammed and everything like that. It was a really nice one. I remember taking it out. I think I have the video for that. And maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that, I ended up buying one. When I turned up, it looked a bit sorry for itself, I'll be honest with you. I think I only paid like 800 quid for it or something. But yeah, that was, I straight piped it. I slammed it on a set of black RS4 Audi alloys. Lowered 40mm springs, and yeah, I think at that point I I was sort of done with that car to a point. I remember actually having a bump on the motorway. Ended up smashing into the back of a bloody Vauxhall or something on the motorway. That was a bad one, yeah. But for some reason, I gave them all my information and they never got back to me, so I don't really know what happened there, but I think that was lucky for me. And the bumper was all scraped up, so what I did was I just put the number plate over the bump on the bumper. It looked alright, to be fair. Well, I thought it did, anyway. And then at that point, I was seeing someone she worked at a bar, and I was talking to her colleague's dad at the time, and he was telling me some of the cars he had, and at the time he had a Lexus IS300, and he was telling me that he was going to get it scrapped because he wasn't using it. I was like, well, is there any, I was like, I asked the usual question, the MOT on it and everything like that. I said, yeah, it's absolutely mint, I was like, why are you getting rid of it? And so I thought, well, I'll go and have a look at it. And to be fair, it was pretty mint, to be fair, it was a little bit tired. It was a 2001. I think it had something like 14 owners or something like that. And he said, right, well, I'll tell you what, if you give me what the scrap man was going to offer me for it, you can have it. It was like 230 quid. I was like, bloody hell, mate, I'll snap your bloody hand off. It's a 2JZ. I know it's automatic, but so what? And so next day, I took the Borah off the road. I left it at my mate's house, got into this Lexus, and I had some fun with that. I only had that car for around a month. It was Christmas time, and that thing used to do burnouts for fun. It was just so easy just to spin those tyres up. With it being automatic as well, it sounded awesome as well. But God, it was thirsty. That car was costing me about 15 to 20 quid a day in juice. So yeah, that had to go, unfortunately. And an interesting story. Oh, actually, that's a point. I nearly took it to a meet, extreme BHP meet, and I had not had the car that long. I'd only had it like a couple of days, and I nearly wrapped that into a Ford. Nearly smashed into a side of a Ford. So that was fun, and the car was at times a bit scary. And so I sold that to the fella that did this to my Civic. His name's Jack. He might be watching, or he might not be. He might not even admit to it. So, but yeah, he did that to my Civic. Destroyed it. And then he had that for a couple of months, I think, or something like that. And then he gets a text, he messages me saying, did you ever have any issues with gearbox? I was like, no, mate, I had that car for less than a month. All right, there's something up with it there. He'd actually blown the gearbox on it, and it's a rare car. And if I remember it rightly, he waited 2 months to get that car fixed in the end, and it cost him 1,500 quid. Well, that's a point as well. I sold that car for 1,200 quid. I remember putting it on Facebook, and there was so much interest in that car. I had a fella from France who wanted it. He was going to drive up, stay with his sister in Leeds or something like that, and then come and get it. I was like, yeah, if you want it, mate, come get it, but I'm not changing that price. And then within the next day or something like that, a fella from Budapest messaged me saying he wanted it. He said he collects them or something like that. He used to collect IS300s and Altezas and stuff like that. So I was like, right. But then in the end, Jack wanted it. So, and he, yeah, like I said, he blew the gearbox on that. 1,500 quid it cost him to replace that. So, I think I remember seeing it on British car auctions not long after he got rid of it because he just gave up with the bloody thing. So, but that was a fun car, but very thirsty. So at this point, I think I'd gone back to the Borah for a little bit. Yes, I did. I left the Borah at my mum's and I wanted something else. And I had quite a bit of money to play with that I'd been saving up. Then I came across one of the YouTubers that I follow, a fella called Ronnie B. He is selling his Mini Cooper S R53, nicely modified, stance out. What did it have? It had a Miltech exhaust on it. It had like a custom roof on it. I remember that was a really nice car. That I went all the way. I ended up messaging him, giving him a bit of a lowball offer. To be fair, and he accepted it. And he lived in Plymouth. I live in like northwest of England, so we met up halfway in Birmingham, and yeah, that was a. You've seen it if you've. I'll put a link to the video if you want to watch that. But yeah, that car though. I mean, don't get me wrong, that was such a cool car, but God, it was really hard work to drive that, and I was struggling to like it. I really wanted to like that car because it was a fun little supercharged car, my first supercharged car. And I remember we took it to a track day meet sort of thing at Three Sisters. They happen near enough every week, and I ended up meeting a lad there called Phelan, and me and him and my mate Jordan with his C1, but he didn't come in the C1 at the time. I think he came in his missus' car or something like that. He got some good videos of me actually. And anyway, so we were driving through Wigan and we were making so much bloody noise. That Miltech exhaust was so loud and it would pop and bang forever. And he was making a lot of noise with his Mini and stuff like that. I must say, I swear if we stayed any longer, we would have got thrown out of Wigan. It was that loud. It was ridiculous. I think there were a lot of people getting pissed off with us. And then I think I kept it was through winter time and stuff like that. So I was more using the Borah more than anything. And I just thought, I'm not using this Mini. It's slammed to the ground. You can't daily drive this thing. I'm not sure what to do with it. I could have pulled it apart and I'd have probably made a bit of money on the parts and stuff like that and put it back to standard or something. But I ain't got the time for that. I ended up making a bit of a profit on that. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. I bought it for 1,800. I think I sold it for 2,200 or something like that. I did quite well on that. This fella came up and he was buying it for his missus. And then he was fairly local to me. And every time I saw that car after that, he was the only one driving it. So I think he bought it for himself, really. But yeah, that was a shame. It was a nice car, but just wasn't for me. So back then, I went back to just having the Borah as a daily driver. And I thought, right, let's do a few bits on this. So got it straight piped. What else did I do? And then I got my mate Jamie Maudsley to remap it. If you need any remaps, give him a shout. And yeah, that thing was awesome. I'll put a shot of the day we got it mapped. It was so cool, that car. You know, it used to make all the owl noises and everything like that. It was such a cool car. And then, yeah, we used to cut about where we used to go to meets with Blackburn Carmate, who I'm an admin for at the moment. And yeah, we had some fun with that. It was a good car, that. But after a while, I didn't really want to spend any more money on it. And I just sort of left it as it was. And I still had a fair chunk of money from when I sold the Mini and stuff like that. Dipped into a little bit through a few modifications and stuff like that, and a few treats for myself, I guess. And instead of spending any money on cars for pretty much 9 months, I just went on holiday, and then another holiday, and then another holiday. And then some gigs. You're unbelievable. Went to Santa Pod. And then I think after the trip to Belfast, I thought, alright, I was buying my first all at the time as well. I had to sell the Borah. It had a bent bloody caliper carrier on it. I had bought the part, but I just had to get rid of it. A friend of mine was really interested in it. And it was a bit of a sad one, really, because I had a lot of good times in that car. Probably my second favourite purchase after the Civic. time. It was a good one, that, but it had to go. It was getting a bit tired. Weirdly, we have recently just seen it on Facebook Marketplace for sale again. It's ended up to some lad in Sheffield. But yeah, so, and then I made the worst purchase of probably my bloody life. I decided to go and buy a bog standard granddad spec bloody 2007 Volkswagen Passat TDI 140 SE model. boring car. I bought that. I was kind of in a rush to get something. Ideally, I sort of jumped the gun a bit. I thought, yeah, I'll tidy it up a bit, maybe put some different alloys on it. I fancied putting some Mark 5 alloys on it and stuff like that. But it was such a crap purchase that I did not like that car at all. I ended up having to buy a new battery for that, new radiator. The tyres on it kept going. I think there was something up with the tracking on it. In fact, yeah, the tracking it was just rubbish. It was such a bad car that if you're ever looking into buying a B6 Passat, don't do it. Yeah, it's also the one that got cloned as well. I have done a video about that. My last video was about that. Yeah, so recently I have sold that though, and now I have something else, but you will have to wait to see that. So that is for another day. I hope you've enjoyed this very long video. Next video will be my new car, so stay tuned for that one. If we're still in the pandemic while this is on, because I've recorded this on probably the week before the previous video, stay safe, look after yourselves, stay sensible, and I don't know, don't get any Section 59s, and make sure you always drive with insurance. Right, okay, right, take it easy guys.